My sister and I unlocked a choice system. $1 billion or your mom. Which one would you choose? My sister picked the billion without a second thought. She married into the wealthy John family, receiving a $1 billion dowry. Meanwhile, I lived a normal life with my mom who remarried. Who would have thought my sisters-in-laws would go bankrupt in less than 3 years? Her husband fled the country with all the money, leaving her to take the fall in due time. Once she got out, the first thing she did was try to kill me. Next thing I know, I've opened my eyes back to the day of that choice. This time she picks our mom first. I smiled. Finally someone else was going to deal with that lion's den. I picked my mom. My twin sister Candy wore a smug grin when she said it. No different than her expression when she made the choice in our past life. She chose the billion last time, and ended up miserably. It seemed like she was really confident about her choice this time. I had no choice but to accept the $1 billion dowry from the John family, marrying the son of the richest man in the country, John. Our wedding was a huge affair, attracting top figures from every field in the nation. The only one missing was the groom. In our past life, Candy experienced the same deal on her wedding day. It's funny really. John is so childish. He refused to attend the wedding just to prove his undying devotion to his first love. I knew deep down, he married my sister back then, and me now because his family pressured him. Plus, we looked a lot like his first love. In his words, we would do. The groom's absence made things awkward. Standing alone by the officiant, I spotted Candy in the crowd, smirking maliciously. When it was her wedding, she was so mad and upset that she cried, making everything even more awkward. This time, it seemed like she was there for the laughs. She's always been like that, not able to stand me doing better than her. Growing up, she'd skip studying for fun while I worked hard and earned praise. It frustrated her so much, she teamed up with school bullies against me. Thankfully, her behavior toughened me up. I completed all the ceremonies, smiling through it with no complaints. When I went to greet guests, a few wealthy ladies complimented me for my poise and calm in such a situation. They all thought I was hiding immense embarrassment, but honestly, I didn't care. It's just a wedding. Who cares if the groom shows up? As long as the $1 billion comes through, I'm good. After all, I didn't marry for that dumb guy. Back home after the wedding, my mother-in-law unleashed fury on John, calling him a disgrace for almost ruining the family's reputation. Without you holding it together today, our family would have been a laughingstock. John seemed upset about his mom's scolding. With disappointment dripping, she continued, "You should be grateful to marry someone like Lucy. You think she married up? Really, it's our family who's marrying up. You have any idea who Lucy is?" "Enough." John cut her off. "I don't care who she is." He stormed over to me, staring me down without an ounce of warmth. "You're just a stand-in. Act like it. Remember, I'll never touch you, so don't even try." Goodness, the level of dumbness was painful. If my mother-in-law wasn't there, I'd have wanted him far away. Stupidity gives me hives. Maintaining a fake smile, I replied, "Good. That works for me." Candy was more impatient than I thought. Not even a month into my marriage, she couldn't wait to show off. She made my mom ask me with a made-up excuse, "Your sister's got a nice boyfriend. I'm worried she's being played. Could you check him out for me?" We met at a cafe, a place Candy picked, and barely after we sat down, she started gushing about how it was her favorite spot. She cuddled up to Mike, smiling like a kid. "He spoils me." As soon as he knew I liked this place, he signed up for a membership right away. I mean, with her $2,800 month salary, no way she could afford this pricey place. So she was flaunting with someone else's dime. Unbothered, I flashed a polite smile. "Well, thanks to Mr. Mike for supporting my business. You see, I own this cafe. I have $1 billion worth of investment. Leaving it all in the bank seemed boring. So I started investing here and there." Candy was playing for elegance, holding her coffee when she heard me. She slammed her cup down quickly. "Invest wisely, or you might go bankrupt." Noticing Mike's puzzled look, she backtracked, sipping and saying, "What I mean is, I've learned money isn't everything. What matters is the sincerity of people around." On this, she rambled on about Mike's virtues, how talented and devoted he was to her. Looking at Candy, I just felt sorry. What's got my sister so blinded? She got a second chance at life, yet she's still clueless. Is she seriously saying money isn't as important as a man's sincerity? And as for Mike, who he really was wasn't lost on me. In our past life, I once had a fling with Mike. We met at a party Ken hosted. Back then, he was Ken's favorite student, and my mom was planning to marry Ken. Mike's quite the charmer, and an industry expert at 30. He treats me great, and someone like him aggressively pursuing me? Can't really say no to that, right? But my mom, taking Ken's advice, was dead set against this marriage. Then Mike had the nerve to suggest we get hitched first and get approval later. I shut that down fast. Who knew turning him down would show his true colors? He started spreading nasty rumors about me. It was distressing, and it took me ages to settle the matter. Later found out, Mike was in a hurry to marry cause his expert title was just BS. He was struggling at his firm, hoping to leverage Ken's professor role to snag a university gig. Can a guy like that be genuine? Even if he's sincere, he's trash. Ken's shady stuff makes Mike's drama look like peanuts. While Mike hit the restroom, I decided to warn Candy. After all, she's my little sister. I don't want her getting trapped by a loser. Don't waste your time with Mike. Ken and Mom won't agree. I sipped my coffee and added, honestly, whoever you're with, they won't approve. Stop BSing. You're just jealous. Your husband doesn't care for you, so you can't stand my happy times with Mike. And Ken treats me well too. You and him didn't get along cause you're not likable. I chuckled. Oh, so you think Ken likes you? Well, nothing more to say then. Folks who ignore good advice don't get sympathy. Lately I've been busy making money. Besides the coffee shop, I've got other ventures. Having cash makes investing fun. Finally living my business dreams. Back then, I wanted my own place. I tried almost every job. I figured out everything from production to sales. But saving money for business was tough. Never got there. In hindsight, those jobs gave me valuable skills. I know the market and customers better than other investors. And I get what makes employees tick. In a few months, my $1 billion grew. But I didn't plan to share the news. One day, I was on my bed, thrilled with my bank balance, and John barged in looking annoyed. Don't think playing hard to get will win my attention. I gave him a confused look, saying, go find something to do. I'm busy counting money. John started ranting, money, money, money. You're just like other women wasting cash. I wasn't bothered. I know what happens with reckless spending, thanks to Candy's example. She was careless, blew through a $1 billion dowry in a little over 2 years, then thought to patch things up with John. But it was too late. He was smitten with his first love by then. Unlike her, I'm not trying to save this non-existent relationship. Why bother? Making money is much better. A month later, I flew to Country F with my mother-in-law. She went for vacation. I went to do market research on idols and escape John. He's been around more often, acting like some big shot, saying, act cold all you want, I'm not interested. I can't express how much he irks me. I genuinely can't stand an idol guy like him. Can a company even run with a CEO like him? Turns out no. He doesn't have basic decision-making skills. In the 2 weeks in Country F, my mother-in-law got endless work calls, mostly from John. Almost 30, and he still needs his mom's opinion on everything. He can't make a single decision or handle the market's ups and downs. My mother-in-law got headaches and booked an early flight back. I came to see if John can handle things alone. Clearly, I expected too much. But you're mature. Watching you, I'm reminded of when I used to manage with John's dad. Marrying a girl like you was definitely a step up. Seeing her sincere, kind face, it's hard to link her to the evil mother-in-law Candy described. But I get it now. She doesn't target anyone, she just despises slackers. If she's harsh on her own son Candy, who's just as unproductive, has no chance. Funny enough, we agree on hating slackers. Back home, I started an entertainment company, recruiting trainees. The entertainment world has to make room for Lucy. I'll make it big. My mother-in-law supports my career, investing a lot, and using her network to get opportunities for my trainees. At first, I was reluctant, not wanting such a huge favor. But she reassured me, saying something that eased my concerns. Don't think I'm indulging you. It's just business. I can't put all my eggs in one basket, especially when that company's basket looks shaky at best. With her backing, my trainees quickly gained some fame. Conveniently, a program called Form the Group is in prep right now, and I've signed my trainees up. As one of the show's sponsors, I find myself on the judges' panel as the group manager. All the trainees from various companies took to the stage, showcasing their talents. In truth, everyone knew they were just filler, meant to highlight the next performer. Hi everyone, I'm Clara. Clara, the undisputed favorite to win. John's first love. That face, worth every penny, truly is mesmerizing. No wonder John was so captivated by her. But her looks don't match her talent. Her rap was utterly rhythmless, almost enough to make me gag. Great image, but the skill needs work. I thought I was being subtle, but Clara's team turned it into drama, pushing a victim narrative for her. Clara subtly hinted at her past with John, guiding the narrative to paint me as the villain who stole a wealthy husband. The show only aired once, and already the buzz around me and Clara dwarfed the other trainees. Exactly what her team wanted. Now everyone was eager to know John's stance. Industry insiders know a CEO isn't going to comment on tabloid gossip. But they overestimated John's intelligence. He called me. Just admit you're faking being cold to me, and I'll reluctantly help you out. Idiot. This long-awaited retort escaped my lips before I hung up. Half an hour later, headlines read, CEO sides with Clara, reveals token of love. Has he lost his mind? I drove over to John, slapped him and shouted. He held his reddened cheek dumbfounded. Last time I got slapped was by my mom. You're playing with fire, lady. If you keep mixing business with personal issues and blabbing so much, you're the one who's gonna get burned. Do you even see Clara for what she is? He smirked. Jealous of Clara, huh? Please. I'm done. No more trying to save him. I thought I might give him a wake-up call. But now no point. With leadership like this, a company not going bankrupt would be surprising. John's screw-up presented a prime opportunity for our competitors. Using this gossip, they painted John's personal life as chaotic, revealing the token of love as a limited edition item from an infamous brand. John's reputation plummeted, pulling the company's stock down with him. I glanced at my bank account growing daily and felt zero panic. Let him crash. I'll keep making my money, no interference needed. But Candy saw it differently. She assumed John and I were tied at the hip. So the moment stocks tumbled, she called full of mockery. Even though I broke up with Mike, Ken treats me amazingly, buys me tons of designer stuff, and supports everything I do. Unlike you, though married to a rich man, he doesn't really care about you. Then she added, oh sorry, forgot your rich husband's about to go bankrupt. I hung up silent, watching fools act. Pointless. Ken's a spendthrift, especially with young women. His pension isn't insignificant, but his spending is. In my past life, Mom worked herself to the bone multiple jobs. I urged her to leave Ken, but she insisted a warm partner wasn't easy to find at her age. Couldn't convince her, so I aimed to earn enough to help. Quit as a gymnastics coach for better prospects. From that day, working multiple jobs became my reality. But the hardship wasn't the work. It was Mom's endless demands. She never cared for how I felt, only that I didn't give enough. Soon I realized. Mom was a hopeless romantic, using me as a means for Ken. Now what? My sister's notorious laziness means working isn't an option. Mom will bear it alone. With her small frame, how long can she last under their weight? Just as expected, Mom called, crying about her dire situation. I believed her, but it's not my concern. Calmly, I ended the call. Playing savior only leads to no good. Remember to respect others' fates. Form the Group was halfway done. Contestants gave it their all except Clara. Honestly, still can't fathom how someone flubs a routine at this stage. Offbeat moves, off-pitch voice, finally sings the last note. I bit my tongue the entire performance. No more. My joys and sorrows unseen by anyone. The whole studio suddenly went silent. I got heated and said sharply, if you'd at least taken a single gymnastics class, there's no way you would have performed that piece with rhythmic gymnastics elements like this. Have you shown any respect for the audience? Any respect for rhythmic gymnastics? This is an insult to gymnastics. As soon as I finished speaking, Some fans behind me weren't happy. Is this woman crazy or what? Does she even know gymnastics? Yeah, Clara has worked really hard. The old woman is just jealous of Clara. Clara kept her cool and smiled slightly. Lucy, you're right. I'm not that good in this area. But from what you said, you seem to know a lot about rhythmic gymnastics. Would you mind showing us? As she spoke, she held up the ribbon used for performing. I understood. She was challenging me. She was smiling so brightly and gracefully now. But that wouldn't last long. I took the ribbon from her, did some spins and jumps with my eyes closed, fluid and beautiful movements. It had been a while since I practiced, so I was a bit rusty. I smiled as I handed the ribbon back to Clara. She looked totally stunned. But what really shocked her was yet to come. That afternoon, people on the internet dug up my other identity that I had never mentioned. Former world champion in rhythmic gymnastics. These were just some old honors, so I didn't think they were worth bringing up. But the attention this garnered was way beyond what I expected. In less than half a day, news about me spread online. Everyone was amazed by my achievements and admired my low profile. I told you, there's no way a regular person could marry into the wealthiest family. You need some serious skills to fit in. Are you kidding? She's a world champion. The Johns are lucky to have her. Thanks to my world champion status, John's company's reputation saw a boost, and the stock price, which had been dropping for over a week, finally started to rise. John barely made it out of this one. My mother-in-law, who's been on edge for days, finally felt some relief. I told you, marrying Lucy was the best thing the John family did. You better appreciate her, kiddo. Much later, I found out the person who first revealed my champion identity online was someone my mother-in-law hired. I asked her why she did it. She looked pleased with herself. I have such an outstanding daughter-in-law. I can't let her be bullied by some little nobodies. While things were going great for me, Clara wasn't having the best time. Since that dance incident, her popularity plummeted. The company poured resources into her, but her poor abilities wasted them. The company could only consider promoting someone else. So Clara became the company's abandoned child. Somehow, rumors spread that I would use this opportunity to completely crush Clara to boost our own trainee. Clara herself acted shamelessly, facing the cameras, tearfully claiming she was under a lot of pressure, in a bad state, feeling targeted, and might have to quit due to the stress. Her online supporters hinted she was being suppressed by me. But really, those were her desperate final struggles. The company had already given up on her. It was a done deal. Any fuss she made was just wasting her money to give marketing accounts some revenue. I could just sit back and watch. But I forgot. I have John as my wrecking ball of a partner. This time he again immediately revealed his stance. But unlike last time, he stood firmly by my side. I rushed to his office, seeing his "look what I did" expression. My anger flared. Did I not tell you to separate personal and professional matters? Do you have the brain of a pig? He didn't get it, ranting cluelessly. I'm defending you. Why are you still unhappy? What on earth do you want me to do? My phone vibrated in my pocket. I looked and everything went dark. Our rival moved faster than I thought. Once I saw John's ridiculous supporter statement, I immediately contacted PR to minimize the damage. Looking at things now, we were too late. Negative news about John was all over the internet. Is John coming out to support Lucy, just adding fuel to the fire? Ridiculous, trying to paint himself as some romantic hero. For 3 days straight, the scandal's heat wouldn't simmer down. I was determined to make him clean up his mess, and he scrambled for over a month to no avail. In the end, my mother-in-law had to step in to fix things for him. At the family dinner, my mother-in-law was exhausted. I'm getting old. I wanted to step back for a long time. This is the last time I'm helping you. Never come asking me again for company issues. Listen to your wife more. He used my advice immediately. Honey, got any suggestions for the company's future? I took a sip of wine and looked at my mother-in-law. Mom, if possible, maybe you should consider having another child. If it never rains but it pours, nothing has been going smoothly for me lately. Just after sorting out John's mess, I heard my mom was sick and in the hospital. John and I rushed to the ward, and my mom berated me. You finally came, you heartless girl. Praising too soon. We actually came to get back the $50,000 John sent. This fool, trying to curry favor with me, wired $50,000 as soon as he found out my mom was hospitalized. Luckily, he came bragging to me right away. Otherwise, I'd have lost $50,000 for no reason and been kept in the dark. Lucy, you're too much. Not paying up is one thing. Now you're taking back your brother-in-law's money? I glared at Candy, who just came back loaded with shopping bags, followed by Ken. Did they just go shopping? My mom got sick from supporting these two freeloaders, and they've got the nerve to go shopping? How do they have the guts to blame me? I scoffed sarcastically. Wow, buying so many luxury goods. You wouldn't have used the $50,000 borrowed from my family, would you? Why do you care? The money was borrowed from me by my brother-in-law. What's it got to do with you? I said teasingly. Oh, your brother-in-law regrets it and wants it back. Candy blinked her big eyes, looking at John. Brother-in-law, is what she said true? I kept a straight face and looked at John. He nodded obediently like a cat being handled, which earned him a small smile from me. I turned to Candy. You don't have to pay it back, just give some interest. As Candy took out her phone to transfer money, she cursed, heartless jerk, only ever thinking about money. Not at all like me, who values emotions. I glanced at her and then at Ken, who was tirelessly catering to her. If you truly value emotions, that's great. Ken's got deep feelings for you. Time flew by, and soon it was the group formation night. In front of millions, Lily, from the same company as Clara, unexpectedly clinched the championship, debuting in the center position. Many might have found it surprising, but I knew this girl's talent deserved this reward. I've seen her practicing dance alone late at night. I watched her fall over and over for difficult moves, bruised and crying, only to stand up and try again. I've seen her insist on practice even with a 104-degree fever and 4-drip attached. Honestly, she's more hardworking and brilliant than any trainee under me. Now she stood at the center of the stage, holding the trophy, crying like a kid. Through tears, she expressed her endless gratitude to me, saying it was because of me she reached this point. Before the competition, there were rumors that I was using my capital to suppress other trainees to boost my artists, and some dodgy media accounts even asserted that my trainee would surely be the center. But reality slapped them hard. I did use capital, but it was to fund Lily. There was talk of Lily planning to drop out of the competition. For someone who loves the stage so much, quitting must have been a last resort. After some digging, I found out it was because her dad was seriously ill, and they couldn't afford treatment. Without hesitation, I covered all of her father's medical expenses, so she could focus on the competition without worries. Dreams are precious, and kids from ordinary backgrounds should be brave enough to chase them. I hope you never give up easily. I'm here. I thought I'd step away from the drama after the show's recording and finally have a break. But fate had other plans. The recipe for John's flagship product got leaked. In a previous life, John's family spiraled downhill after this incident, eventually going bankrupt in 6 months. It was all over the news back then. My sister cried to me, blaming Clara, saying she'd switched sides to the rival group's president when she saw no way up. She slept with John to get the formula and leaked it. But this time, John follows my lead and has long since cut ties with Clara. How did he still fall for her trap? John hesitated. She said if I didn't give her the secret, she'd have someone kidnap you. I palmed my forehead. Why wouldn't she kidnap me directly? Doesn't she like me? I shouted angrily. I go out with 2 bodyguards daily. How's she gonna kidnap me? Do you even think? Even if she managed, am I worth more than the formula? You're worth more. Way more than anything. John answered instantly. Besides, we have plenty of product lines, not relying on just this one. I was so furious I felt dizzy, tempted to crack open his head and see what was inside. Seeing my expression grow harsher, he asked softly, "So what now? Mom said to listen to you more." I sighed, looking out the window. "I'll give you a shortcut. How about jumping out now?" The situation was tense when my phone rang, saving the moment. The second I picked up, I heard my mom wailing on the other end. "You need to come back. Your sister is in trouble." Candy was crying rivers, barely making sense. My mom was incoherent, clearly hiding something. After a bit, I gathered that my sister barely escaped being raped, and it was Ken, the guy Mom hooked up with, who tried it. I knew my sis was dense, but this dense? Mom was frantic. What do we do? Your sister's like this, Ken's run off. How will I live the rest of my life? Her whining gave me a headache. Irritated, I snapped, what do you think? Report it to the police, and get him back before worrying about anything else. My mom's face changed and she blurted out, no, we can't report it. If we do, Kim will be done for. She added, besides, flies don't land on seamless eggs. If Candy were a bit more careful, no man would try to rape her. There's that familiar mom. Back in the previous life, when I told her that pervert had designs on me, she had the same horrible attitude. From then on, I understood Mom's a complete love fool. She'd rather think of her daughter as misbehaving than admit her lover is a creep. Now, Candy had stopped crying, but looked even more hopeless. While Mom was out for a moment, she turned on me. You knew what he was like, didn't you? Why didn't you warn me? Ha, of course I know that. I'm just smarter and more decisive than her. When I discovered the real side of Ken, and realized that my mom wouldn't side with me, I fled that nightmare of a place overnight, and started living on my own. Most of the money I earned was with my mom, so life was tough after I left home. I even considered asking my wealthy sister for help, but she wouldn't even look at me back then. And now you come here blaming me? You've got some nerve. I glared at Candy and said angrily. She was speechless for a moment. I glanced at her with disdain. So what if you get another chance at life? You choose something different, then what? You see now, right? No matter what you choose, you always end up losing. You know why? Candy bit her lower lip, her face twisted with hatred in her eyes. I leaned closer, touched her pretty face and said with a smile, it's because you're stupid. You always rely on others for hope, and never think about changing things for yourself, silly sister. Even if a fool gets 100 do-overs, all they do is act out 100 versions of a fool's demise. I'll kill you. She suddenly lunged at me, grabbing my collar, trying to choke me. But the moment she moved, a bodyguard burst through the door and pinned her to the ground, screaming like a pig. I crouched down to look at her up close, shaking my head. TSK, did you really think we were on the same level? Letting you get this close was already a favor, and you still thought you could kill me? She squirmed and struggled on the floor like a lunatic. Can't even call her a lunatic, she totally was crazy. That night, my mom called crying. What do we do? Your sister's gone nuts and tried to jump into a river. Luckily, she got pulled out in time. But she was already acting crazy before. Now, the cold river made her even more unbalanced. She goes wild at the sight of any man, and tries to kill people in her fits. My mom was at her wit's end, and had to pay to have her admitted to a mental hospital. Are you really not going to help? Your mom is having a hard time, John asked cautiously, glancing at me nervously, like a palace eunuch waiting for an edict. I gave him an eye roll. Don't worry about her suffering, it's deserving. You better focus on your own issues. I hear the workers haven't been paid in over 2 months, and they're about to revolt. He patted his chest confidently. Don't worry about that. I've got a solution. Just wait a few days to see your man in action. I looked at him doubtfully, wondering, can I really trust him? I gotta say, John never disappoints in disappointing me. In no time, his actions answered my question. Not at all trustworthy. He gathered the employee reps for a so-called motivational meeting. The way he strutted in, I thought he had a genius move up his sleeve to solve the crisis. But what he proposed was halting worker pay, and went on some long-winded speech. I know things are tough for everyone, so I'm willing to lead by example. Starting today, John won't draw a salary, just like the rest of you. I believe if we all work together, we can overcome this hardship. The vampire capitalist vibe was sickening. Of course, the reps shouted to beat him. Just as the scene was about to spiral out of control, a fierce figure stomped to the podium and whacked John on the back with a stick. Instant silence. John stood frozen for a second, and then turned, disbelief all over his face. The person who hit him? His own mom. Who passed the stick? His own wife. The hit was for his co-workers. My mother-in-law scowled, holding the stick. You're a rich kid, you sure don't need wages. But have you thought about how these regular workers will feed their families without pay? Her anger started to melt into disappointment. I never let you endure any hardship, but I had no idea it would make you so useless. John rubbed his back, looking hurt. Mom pushed him aside with disgust and beckoned me to the stage, replacing her frown with a smile. No need to fret about the company's future. I promise salaries will be paid over the next 2 months as usual. If we can't continue operations after that, I will provide legal compensation. But I'm confident my capable daughter-in-law has a comprehensive plan for this crisis. Taking my hand, she added, "Oh, I mean chairwoman. I'm announcing John's resignation as chairman now." A familiar woman shouted from the crowd, "Don't get too happy, Lucy. I've paid a pretty penny to get in with David. Your supply chain is about to snap. Even with your skills, you can't fix this lost cause." Clara thrust herself into the spotlight, revenge written all over her face. "John, you dumped me for your wife. Don't blame me for being ruthless. Guess what? Your family's business empire is about to crumble because of me." She pushed through, surrounded by bodyguards, and sneered at me. "Lucy, you took my spot. You're asking for it." John shielded me, going full dramatic. "If you're trying to rile me up, congrats, you did. Step aside." I sighed, tugged John back by his collar, tossing him behind me. Meeting Clara's taunting eyes, I stood my ground. "You really think you've won already? Last time around, the rival group won by cutting off our raw materials. Funny enough, in a past life, I spent some time as a live-in nanny, and my employer, David, was actually the boss of a raw materials supplier. But back then, things were already set in stone, and there was nothing I could do. This time, though, when I noticed things were heading in the same direction, I anticipated Clara's next moves. So, I reached out to David first. David went through a divorce years ago and never remarried. He raised his little girl Linda, who's 5.5, all on his own. He spoils her rotten. Linda has always been a picky eater, and David spent a lot of money trying to get her to eat better. But nothing worked until I came along. In about half a year, I had her eating normally. Her temperament improved too, and David was beyond grateful. In a previous life, I managed to handle Linda perfectly. So this time around, it was going to be a piece of cake. John's family and David's have been business partners for years. Using this connection, I invited them both to a dinner party and made sure to include my homemade chestnut cake, Linda's favorite. Little Linda loved it and kept asking for more. David was so amazed he had to have the recipe, saying he'd pay anything for it. I didn't want his money. I wanted a promise for a steady raw materials supply. He agreed without hesitation, happily taking the recipe home. My mother-in-law was worried and asked if I wasn't afraid he'd back out. Not at all. Even if Clara tried to entice him with financial gains, I was sure he wouldn't waver. Linda would eventually get tired of that chestnut cake, but with over 100 recipes of her favorite foods in my pocket, David was sure to come back begging for more. Clara's face was a mess of emotions after she got off a phone call. I teased her, asking why she didn't look happy, and if she was naturally grumpy. Seeing her speechless, I pressed on. Was it David on the line? Did he tell her he wasn't interested in her dirty money? Enraged, she lunged at me. John isn't great with brains, but his reflexes are good. He grabbed Clara's arm and shoved her back forcefully. "You think you can mess with my woman?" In that moment, his tough guy lines didn't seem so cringeworthy. Clara stumbled back, gesturing for her bodyguards to step in. Honestly, I was curious if a battle-worn John might look more bearable, but reality check. A fight could get ugly. I put a stop to it, telling the guards they might not get paid if Clara ends up in jail. "What are you talking about?" She snapped. "You didn't know?" I replied, "I've already reported you for business secret infringement and unfair competition. The money you gave David is evidence, by the way." "Oh, someone might be headed to jail." Clara couldn't handle the stress and fainted on the spot. John gave me a thumbs up. "Honey, you're amazing. What would I do without you?" "Get lost." I shot back. If it weren't for not wanting to waste Mom's hard work, I wouldn't even bother with this mess. When I say the business is my mother-in-law's blood, sweat, and tears, I'm not exaggerating. She told me all about her struggles when she was younger. Back then, my father-in-law was a bit of a fool, losing money on everything and becoming the village joke. Things only started to turn around after he married her. Later, they founded the company, and she's been the backbone ever since. You have no idea. During those years, I was worn out, and my health started to fail. The doctor told me that if I kept pushing myself like this, I might lose the baby. My mother-in-law recalled those times, looking very bitter. But even after years of running around for the company, I never had an official position there. John's father always said women couldn't be trusted with big responsibilities. What nonsense. She seemed resentful, but then her mood shifted, and she smirked. He never expected to kick the bucket early. After he passed, both his son and the company had to listen to me. Just thinking about that makes me feel better. Usually, my mother-in-law is this elegant lady, so it was a bit surreal to hear her speak about her late husband like that. I found it more endearing than anything else. I chuckled and said, "At least John isn't like his dad. He's pretty supportive of me taking over the company." "He wouldn't dare not to be," she said, gently pulling my hand over. "Sweetheart, remember this. We're just as capable as those big shot men. There's no need for us to hide in the background and support them." I nodded in agreement, smiling. After much deliberation, I decided to report Ken to the authorities without telling my mom, and he got slapped with a 6-year sentence. When they arrested him, my mom threw a fit, claiming I'd ruined her chances for happiness in her later years. I told her that's not true. There is happiness. Then I turned around and made sure she got into a lovely retirement home. John was sent to the grassroots level for training. As my mother-in-law put it, he needed to experience every hardship he missed over the past 30 years to get him on track. To ensure he wasn't given any special treatment, my mother-in-law kept his identity a secret and assigned him to the company's most remote factory location. At first, John pitched a fit like a kid refusing to go to school. He wailed, screamed, you name it. That attitude changed the day he received his paycheck. A $1,500 monthly salary felt like a $1.5 million mindset to him. That day he called me all thrilled, bragging about his huge $1,500 earnings. Can you believe it? This is the first time I've earned money through my own work. For the first time, I feel my life has purpose, and that's through hard work. From then on, John became a real go-getter at the factory, earning recognition for his hard work. I used to think I was spoiling him, but it turns out I just had the wrong approach. He's made for physical work. My mother-in-law left me with that insight as she hopped onto a plane for her vacation. As for me, I don't have that kind of free time. The businesses and my entertainment company are thriving, leaving me buried in work. This feeling of exhilarating chaos, it's truly intoxicating. The end.